All right, what we talking about today, class? We're gonna talk about how to make yourself even more intelligent. Cause I already know if you're on this channel, you're already pretty intelligent, right? You got curiosities, you got different interests, all that good stuff. So check this out. These are just some simple things that I figured out myself. So I just thought I'd share it with you all. All right, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button and subscribe, and let's get right into it. Let's go. All right, so first of all, you need to start questioning yourself. Now, you might have heard that before, but I think it's important for you to recognize what I mean when I say it. So when I'm saying question yourself, I'm talking about more than anything in the positions that we're at in life, right? So I mean, of course, anytime that we're trying to take action or whatever as a creator, we're trying to change something, right? We're trying to either bring something into fruition or bring it closer to us or something like that, right? So knowing this, if we're in a situation where we know we want to get somewhere else, we need to question, first of all, how we are already where we are. So let me bring that a little closer. So I'm standing right here and I got all this stuff surrounding me, right? I got this opportunity to do anything that I want to in this given environment or transition into another one. So knowing that, you got to first be able to recognize how you have all of these different ways that you could go into something. Like, you got to consider all your options. I guess that's what it's really getting back to. You got to consider your options. So if you got all of these options where it's like, okay, I could do this or I could do this, especially if you already know your goal, you got to ask yourself how you got to where you got to in order to determine if you actually want to go into the next place that the present place is going to lead you to. Because I feel like this is a way that sometimes people get themselves too deep into a situation before they bail, before they realize, oh crap, I screwed up and I need to get out. Because a lot of times people might be in a certain situation and they want to like move on from it, so the next opportunity they might get, like, let me give you some examples so that it really makes sense, right? So if it's a dude who's with a spouse that he don't like, right? He might be like, okay, I don't like the way that this woman is behaving. Well, let's just talk about it in the present moment, right? If there's a woman acting in a way that a man doesn't like, of course it could go either way. But if your spouse isn't behaving the way that you like, to the point to where you're like, you know what, I don't like your attitude, right? So an intelligent person is going to be like, okay, how did I even get myself into this uncomfortable situation? Now, I already done made a video talking about how to prevent certain situations and stuff like that, but I feel like it's important for you to really recognize the potential in this. If you recognize how you got yourself into a certain situation, it could very much expand your awareness of what's really happening in your life. So if you got something that happened, right, and you don't like it, that's going to tell you something about what you did before then. If you don't ever question how you got somewhere, it's not going to really benefit you in the grand scheme of things. Mind you, this is also how you get really good at lucid dreaming. I got so good at lucid dreaming because I've always been able to question how I got to where I got to. So you can do this on a micro scale or a macro scale. But anytime you get somebody or something in which you're in a situation you don't like, know that you got yourself into it. And the not so intelligent person would blame their spouse and they're like, my spouse got an attitude. But you might have to question how you ended up with that spouse in the first place, or what exactly partook in order for you to end up in this given situation. Think about it in the small picture and the big picture. And of course, this is going to translate into a lot of other things. Now, why is this so important? Why is it so important for you to do this? Well, this is the thing that I'm trying to really make sure you understand. If you can use your third eye and start expanding into the future as well, because of course it ain't just looking at how you got somewhere, but where it could also get you, that's when you start being a visionary. That's when you start getting really good at creating, because it's very, very easy for somebody to get their energy stolen in this place, right? So if you don't recognize, oh crap, this is not a path I want to take. If you don't recognize that before you start going down it, you're going to waste some time, some energy, or whatever you want to call it. You're going to potentially end up turning around and going back to where you came from, and then starting back at square one and then trying to find another direction to go in. Trust me, we've all been there, right? So it's like, if you can recognize in advance that, especially if it's based off of past experiences, if you got a past experience where it's like, yeah, I did that before and it ended up like this. If you can start picking up on these patterns and stuff and figuring out how certain situations lead to other given type of situations, of course, this is all frequencies. You can very easily start to get your life on the trajectory that you want it to go into, and then you just know to stick with it. You don't have to question if you're doing the right thing anymore once you get really good at this. It's just a matter of continuing on the path that you're on. And that's the difference between people who are more intelligent and the people who are not so intelligent, is that and really intelligent people question things. They ask a lot of questions. And the most intelligent thing, in my opinion, that you can do in your life is question yourself. Question who you are, how you are the way that you are, and why that is. And if there's anything about your personality that you know you need to fix, you need to go ahead and fix it. So let me jump into a different transition real quick. So speaking on this, like people doing something they know they ain't got no business doing. I've heard somebody say, for example, man, I know I shouldn't eat this cake. This cake's gonna go straight to my thighs, right? So you just said out loud that you don't need to be eating this, yet you still eat it. Like if you literally just said it out loud, you got to be able to recognize that about yourself. Now this is the deeper stuff, right? So going into the deeper thing, because the thing I just mentioned was just surface level, but this is when it really gets good, when you can start questioning what is going on right in the moment that it happens, and you can evaluate it without a bias. This is how you start picking up on the signs from the universe, okay? So whenever you start being like, okay, I got this cake, I want to eat it, I know I shouldn't because it's going to get me there. I already know this because I got past experience or what have you, or at least wisdom to know in advance not to make that mistake so that it doesn't get me into that situation. So knowing that if you say it, then you need to be aware of what you're saying, especially if you're talking to yourself. So if you start talking to yourself, you should talk to yourself, by the way. It's very important. It's a trait of highly intelligent people. Talk to yourself and think things through, especially when there's nobody around. So whenever you are starting to ask yourself why I want to do what I'm doing, why am I doing what I'm doing, start questioning why and what if. If you start asking yourself, what if I did this or what if I did that, it'll start getting your creativity more expanded. You'll start being aware of the more things that you're capable of. Don't always stick with what's so familiar. If you know you're trying to be more intelligent, you have to do things a little differently than you've already been doing them. Even if you already are seeing yourself as intelligent, trust me, you can always get wiser. So knowing all of this, if you say it, make sure that you pay attention to the things that come out of your mouth. And not only that, but if you touch it, if you touch something, please, 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 please question why you're touching it. Because you got to understand that in order for you to even have gotten to the point in which something is in your possession or is even in your surroundings, there is some significance to it that is way deeper than you could ever imagine. So if you could really start just realizing that everything is deeper than what you think it is, even if you're the smartest person on the planet, everything is deeper than what you think it is. So knowing that, and remember how I was talking about picking up on the signs from the universe. When you pick up on these signs from questioning your environment, it's very easy to go, oh, okay, yeah, I know that this is probably a thing where I should be doing this. For example, if you know that you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing, normally there are some signs there, right? Either you're gonna drop something or trip up, or like if you're heading in a certain direction, something might make a noise over there and then it divert your attention. Little stuff like that. It could really make you go and question, wait, something just got in my way. Why did that happen? If you start asking yourself why things happen in your life, you're really gonna start figuring this life thing out. You have to start asking more questions. Ask more questions. Not only to yourself, but also if you want to comprehend what's going on in somebody else's head, you need to get really good at asking questions to them too. And of course, whenever you want to make sure that you're getting to the point to where you can also communicate effectively, you of course you want to do that, because if you want to express yourself, it should be easier to express yourself when you're already more aware of why you are the ways that you are and stuff like that. Because you could be traumatized, and that might be part of the reason why you are the way you are. You could have healed from the traumas and you're wiser, and that's why you are the way that you are, or what have you. But you really need to be honest with yourself. If you're not good at something, if you do have a bad habit and stuff like that, you have to be honest with yourself. You can't be in denial and expect to be more intelligent, because the unintelligent person is going to know that something's going on, know that they feel a certain way or what have you, and then just freaking ignore it and try to suppress it, sweep it under the rug. That's irresponsible. You need to take full control and accountability for yourself and what goes on in your life. Don't start trying to blame other people and stuff. Don't blame the devil. Don't blame the past, the person from the past who traumatized you, all that stuff. You can control all of this stuff. And you can also use all of your prior experiences to your advantage. Till next time.